Okay, so we're kind of in the ranch land now outside of Mill Creek. I just saw these pretty trees and thought, man, with the backdrop of Whetstone there, maybe I should record this.
Hey friends, today's ride is actually fairly short, but man is it beautiful. The first time that we went up the Ohio Creek Valley and saw the views up there, just blown away. So we start this ride actually coming out of the Mill Creek area, which we covered in the previous episode. But we come out of the Mill Creek area on Road 727, and then we reach the Ohio Creek Road, which is 730, and we hang a left, and we travel up north toward Mount Carbon. Now I wanted to explore Mount Carbon thoroughly because I hadn't even been on the road off to the east of Carbon, which is 737. It turns out that it's a dead-end road, so here we are, up Carbon Creek without a paddle. Hope you enjoy the show!
You know, it's amazing to me how much better motorcycles are on dirt roads than cars. And rough roads, just forget it. I mean, I was going along at a very comfortable, easy pace when we came up behind that van. And suddenly I went from probably 20 miles an hour to 2. Just love the way that motorcycles can cover the ground. Kind of curious what you might know about Colorado high peaks, since we're headed towards some high peaks today. The plan is to get in behind on the backside of the Maroon Bells in the Elk Wilderness area. Most people think of the Maroon Bells as being in the Aspen area. And they are, because that's how you get in to see the famous view. But we share the Elk Range. They're on the north side, we're on the south side, and we're going to go on the back side of the Bells in a valley that I've never been to before. So I'm really excited about that. So it makes me think about high peaks since we're headed there today. So Colorado's highest peaks are called 14ers. Everyone from Colorado probably knows about them, but if you're not from Colorado, a 14er is a 14,000 foot peak, the highest one being Mount Elbert, and it's 14,400 and something. Kind of interesting that they all peak out around that 14,000, especially because there are 54 mountains in Colorado above 14,000 feet, depending on how you count them. Some people say they're 58. And the difference is that if a peak doesn't have a deep enough valley between it and the next peak, then some people say it's the same mountain. And the Maroon Bells are a really good example of that. There's North Maroon and South Maroon, which I believe are actually Maroon and South Maroon. Or maybe it's Maroon and North Maroon. One of them has the direction attached to it, and they have this beautiful saddle between them, this couloir, but it doesn't go deep enough to make those two separate mountains, even though they look like two mountains. So officially, they're considered one peak. But if you count the ones that are like that, you get as peaks, then you get 58 instead of 54. And so, of course, it's a huge hobby for people in Colorado to try to climb all of the 14ers, and it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, these are tall mountains. It's difficult. You have to be in pretty good shape. Now, people in Colorado who work out all the time even run up the peaks and they try to set speed records and to see who can climb them the fastest, and it's unbelievable. Completely unbelievable what people do. But most people who want to climb them all might climb a handful every summer. So you could easily spend 20 or 30 years trying to climb all those mountains. But I believe that the record, the fastest climb, is actually something like 9 days. And that's someone who's just not sleeping. They have lots of support taking them between the peaks. They're running up them and running down them and using special routes to try to get between them. So that's looking back south down the Ohio Creek Valley. Not too shabby. I'm going to go north instead of south, and it's probably going to be too loud to hear me, so just enjoy the scenery for a bit. But the punchline about the high peaks is that while there are 54 or 58 14ers in Colorado, there are over 700 13ers. Over 13,000 feet. 700. And then I don't even know how many above 12,000 feet. Too many to count. Here we go. Ohio Pass on the left, Carbon Creek on the right. I've never been up Carbon Creek. We're going to go up Ohio Pass, but first, well, I should show you the aspen there. We'll get a better view of those in a minute. And the castles behind, beautiful, beautiful. Some people call them the gendarmes. Standing cliffs. But I've always wanted to go up here. So we are coming in behind Mount Whetstone. Snow can be very, very deep here. They move the cattle into lower land, and they, believe it or not, they plow the fields so that the cattle have a place where they can walk because the snow's too deep. And then they continue to feed the cattle there. And of course they have to have water in the windbreak. Kind of a harsh place to be a cow. According to the Forest Service, this road goes all the way through to Highway 135. But a lot of the forest roads have been closed in recent years because people own private property in front of the forest. And they have the legal right to close the road where it crosses their private property, and that effectively closes the forest road. Mountain Ranch. Getting quite a bit of wind these last few minutes. The clouds are building up quickly. Hope we don't get a surprise rainstorm. What we have here. No trespassing stay on the road, you're okay. Forest road starts 2 miles. Oh, there's some pretty aspen. Pretty valley. That's a pretty little stream. There's a lot of debate about land and wow, look at carbon. That's a beautiful view of carbon right there. So there's a bit of debate about land ownership. As I said earlier, 90% or so of Gunnison County is owned by all citizens of the United States via the national government. So there's not a lot of private land, and people with a lot of money from all over the world have found the beauty of this area, and they started buying up what open ranch land was available. Can't blame them for wanting to have a piece of property like this, but we're talking about billionaires who compete with each other to get the piece of land. And so of course the end result, supply and demand, land has become extraordinarily expensive. The only people that can own a little piece of this are the top, like 1% of the top 1%. This is the beauty of Colorado, though. Looks like we're entering forest land here in a second. Let's see what the sign says. So Carbon Red Mountain Road, 563, Carbon Creek Road, 737. We have a choice to make. 737 is what I wanted to see. I found neutral. The beauty of Colorado is that while maybe only the billionaires can buy their little piece of heaven, 90% of this county is public land, and we just entered public land, so I own this, and you do too. All managed by the federal government, of course. You just can't build a house on it. It used to seem super romantic and exciting to me to live in some of the backcountry of Colorado in a little cabin and raise a family. But the reality is the snow in the wintertime makes it impossible to get in and out without, you know, snowmobiles and winter gear and expedition style hard work. Surprised to see the telecommunications pedestals. Guess they decided to run some lines through here. Nice stream. Of, sure enough, Three Peaks Ranch, Mount Emmons Mining Company. Well, there's a connection there. You notice it says private property. And then it talks about a mining company. People made mining claims on the public lands over the years. And that was part of the charter of the Forest Service, is to support the use of the resources of these areas. So that's why there was timber harvesting and mining claims. And these mining claims actually become private property. And so in the middle of public land, sometimes you'll come across a mining claim like that. And sometimes a mine is still operational. I don't think that one is. But often what happens is someone has built a house on it. And now someone has a little scrap of land in the middle of the forest land. I've even seen little scrap of public land deep inside of wilderness areas. Private land. So now I know. While the forest map does show that this road goes all the way to Highway 135, it is closed. But this is beautiful up here. I've long wondered about skiing this side of Mount Carbon. We skinned up to the top a couple of years ago on the other side and skied down that side where we didn't have to cross private property. And that side is pretty safe. You have to know what you're doing, but you don't have to get on anything that's avalanche worthy. This side here, I'm going to pull over so take a longer look at it for you. If you ski down this side, then you're definitely getting into avalanche terrain, which is not worth it for me. If I want to ski the steeps, I go inbounds where they manage the avalanches, try to keep it safer. In the wilderness, avalanches are completely deadly and unpredictable. Most people that die in avalanches are actually avalanche trained. Sometimes they have multiple certifications. That makes them think that they can go places because they judge whether or not they think that it will slide. And then there's a surprise, just unpredictable. So a person could ski this side and then come out to this road and skin back to the Ohio Creek Road. It'd be a long day. But due to the avalanche concerns, I don't think it's worth it. What a lovely aspen again. You know, sometimes people from out of state, we just, you know, they're not watching the local news. They don't realize how dangerous the backcountry is in the wintertime. They'll climb up these peaks in the backcountry and try to ski down them. And of course, they think, hey, I ski steep stuff in the ski resort, so this isn't that steep. But all it takes for an avalanche is 25 to 30 degrees. And 30 degrees is a steep slope. I mean, that's like a black. But it doesn't look all that steep if you're accustomed to it. People die every year in Colorado because they misjudge the avalanche danger. Let's enjoy these aspen. The north side of this peak, which I think is probably also the windward side right now, but the aspen have already been stripped of their leaves completely. The north-facing side gets the brunt of the weather, and the aspen turn yellow and lose their leaves sooner. But then on top of that, if a windstorm happens to hit, mountain goes from golden to gray, and then next spring it'll be lime green. Beautiful. There's the view for you. There's snow up on the top. We're not going to go quite that high, so maybe we won't get into the snow today. That's West Elk Peak, 13,000 feet. The castle's in front of them. So we're back on the Ohio Creek Road, and I just wanted you to get to see this view. Snow up top, beautiful aspen in the valley. The castles. That's more of that weathered breccia from the volcanic deposits. Subdivision right here. Kind of a harsh place to live. There's no services anywhere. And that's the Anthracite Range and Ohio Peak. We're going to continue up this valley through the aspen, and we're going through the saddle to the right of the Anthracite Range right there, and then on up over Ohio Pass, or maybe it's Ohio Creek Pass. The mountains in the background behind the aspen are wilderness area. That is the West Elk's Wilderness.
Hey, thanks for watching today, and in the next episode, we're going to continue over that saddle that I talked about. That's Ohio Pass, and then we're going to go down Kebler Pass into Crested Butte. It's such a beautiful area right nestled in those anthracites. Looking forward to sharing that with you in episode 5.